Hello inspiring Charitam fans. How are you doing? We bring stories that are unique and inspirational. Today we have a long story of a man. I hope you would like it. Let's begin. Brutal would be an understatement for my condition. Years ago, I was happy, oblivious to the reality I was living in. I, 38 male, was a successful salesperson. I met my wife in early 2000, at a music concert. We clicked immediately. I was in that state for a couple of months and spent a good time together. I remember how hard it was for me to come back to my place. I immediately realized she was the one. I came back and we started having a conversation long distance. She tried finding a new job in my state, and eventually got it. She moved in with me, and life turned into bliss. It was 10 blissful years before everything came crashing down. I often moved to different cities and states due to the nature of my job. One fine day, I came early to home, as the client was sick. I thought of surprising my wife and 3-year-old son. But it was I who got surprised. I saw a police van sitting in my parking lot. My heart sank. I thought something might have happened. I rushed to unlock the door and saw my place dark. I entered the bedroom, and reality hit me hard. I saw a local cop, who is known for his corruption and bullying, in bed with my wife. They were not doing anything at this point. They finished doing the deed and were lying naked. I stood at the door like a ghost. As soon as my wife saw me, she screamed. The nasty cop looked at me and chuckled. His chuckle destroyed me. It was insulting and demeaning. It felt like he wanted to humiliate me. He gave my wife a kiss on the back and stood up slowly. Wearing his clothes, he said, "Look who is here. Sorry for this inconvenience. I shall leave. Have a good day." He chuckled again and I stood there frozen. He was muscular and I knew I could do nothing. I just stood there humiliated, emasculated, and destroyed. I hated myself as tears were running down my cheeks and that guy was chuckling all along. My wife was crying all the time and was saying sorry. Before leaving past me, the nasty cop looked at my wife and said, "See you later, darling." I fell down to the floor. My wife got her clothes and rushed and said, "You are not supposed to be home today." It felt like we had an agreement that she can screw around when I am not home. I could not think about anything. I wanted to destroy everything and everyone around me, but I was helpless. I asked her why. All she said was that she didn't know. It was nothing about me and she just fell for this guy talks shit. I told her, so she had chosen a man who disrespected her, over a man who loved and respected her for life. She was sobbing and told, "It was not about you and sorry." I asked her to leave immediately and she refused. Her parents lived across the state and she had no place to go. I told her to go to the nasty cop's place or any motel with him. I didn't care. She was anyway planning to spend the night with him. She cried and said sorry. I inherited this house from my parents and don't know how many times she did this ritual. I told her how long this has been going. She was not giving any answer. So, I said that I am willing to forgive and move on if she told me the truth. I turned on my phone recording and took consent from her. She said it was going on for 9 months. She met this cop at a party when I was out of town. She knew about his reputation and still didn't stop. The cop was not married and just fooled around with women. She knew that she was one of her side chicks but wanted to continue. Her admission is that it was purely physical and she loved me. She also admitted to 4 one-night stands earlier. I asked her if she was ever faithful to me. She said, "My heart belongs to you and you will always be the only one person whom I shall love." When I asked her, would she cut contact with this guy, she hesitantly said that if that is needed to save this marriage, then yes. This broke my heart yet again. I felt like I lived her life for 10 years. I never knew this person. She felt completely stranger to me. I was vindictive at that point in time. I just wanted to destroy her life. My son was with my parents that night, as she lied and told them that she had an important meeting that day. I was filled with rage and told her that we are through. But I made a mistake there. I told her that I am going to go scorched earth on them. She begged and cried, but ultimately left. I didn't know where she went that night or for the next 3 days. She was just completely out of the radar. No phone call, no message, no voicemail, nothing. I broke the news to my parents and her parents. They were devastated as expected. I had a very good relationship with my in-laws. I went and spoke to my lawyer and gave her the evidence of a fair acknowledgement. But I live in a no-fault state, so adultery has little impact on the divorce. She informed me that it might give me some benefits during the divorce settlement though. Well, it did a lot more. It saved my life. I cried myself to bed every night and was only standing strong for my son. But after 3 days, suddenly police appeared on my doorstep, and sure, the nasty cop was also there. They arrested me for domestic violence in front of my son and neighbors. My parents came and took my son. I called my lawyer. She used the evidence of the affair and told me that it was a ploy to destroy me. The cop was outed but had no impact on my suffering. I was still in prison. My wife apparently got some bruises and falsely accused me of violence. It was my word against hers. I had to go through tormenting 3 weeks in prison. It still gives me nightmares. It was all over the place. She painted that because I abused her, she cheated. My parents, her parents, everyone flipped and blamed me. No one believed me, none came to visit me, but one, my lawyer. I don't why, but she believed me. She fought and finally convinced the court that I was framed. They didn't have any proof, but the conversation recorded clearly indicated that there was no violence. She claimed she came back that night, and then I physically abused her. Her story was losing grip, and I was released. This was of legal value because I took consent from her while recording as well. I went to my place and decided to destroy both of them, at any cost. I had a restraining order placed against the nasty cop and my wife. I told everyone about what happened. Slowly, but eventually, my parents came back. My relationship with them never went back to normal. They have apologized to me several times, but I felt betrayed. They did not believe their son and left me when I needed them the most. They come and visit my son even now, but I have my guards up. Coming back to what happened, I filed a defamation and falsely accused of a criminal record. My wife confessed and said that the nasty cop forced her to do that. There were several women in town who came and opened up about the abuse against him as well. He lost his job and was behind the bars after few days. My wife was given probation but did not get sole custody of our son. She wanted to leave the town and basically gave me the custody and left for her state. She remained in touch with our son, who is a teenager now and going to be an adult soon. She remarried, and that is all I know. She came to the state to visit our son, once in 6 months, and I took him in the next. Despite all, I didn't want to alienate our son from his mother. They have a good relationship but not as strong as he shares with me. I remarried 5 years after the entire trauma. I am at a good place now. I hope my ex-wife is also fine. She apologized and cried many times after the divorce and told me how she changed with the nasty cop. She was too embarrassed to live in the town and be in her son's life. I hope she learned her lessons. I did. I learned a lot. I changed my career, and was there for my son. I earned less, but I was happy. I didn't need to give alimony and share of $401k to my wife, and she didn't send me the child support. This was a mutual agreement. She, however, has saved up something for our son, for his university, I got to know from my son. And yeah, I never saw that nasty cop again. He just disappeared from the face of this earth. So, that's my life. Did I live in paranoia? Not really, but I do not trust anyone blindly now, just no one. That thing was dead when I entered the bedroom. What do you think about the story? Please share the feedback and your suggestions. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to get a notification whenever a new video is uploaded. Stay healthy and happy. Have a great rest of the day wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching.